You can print and cut on larger image size now on Cricut Design Space. I'm going to show you how you can set up your computer and exactly what you need to do to get this larger print and cut. First thing you have to do on your Cricut Design Space main page, you go to these three lines at the top here and you click on settings. It has to be in beta form. So here you click on beta and then Cricut will download a new application and upgrade onto your computer. And then you just press done at the bottom and then you're ready to get started. And I'm going to show you how amazing this new update is. So you can pick a Cricut image via the home page, but I'm going to pick an image, that I have already got, and I'm going to make a t-shirt from this image. So here's my image. You can see the background has been removed already. I don't like to use simple because sometimes it can change the contrast. As you can see, it's a nice effect if that's what you're going for. I usually go on to complex, which keeps the same contrast of my image, and then I press on continue. On this screen, if your background isn't removed, you may have to remove it by clicking on the background, but mine is, so I just continue. We are going with print then cut. So always pick this one and continue again. Now I can add it onto my canvas. So once on my canvas, you can see the image is quite small. It's not at a bigger size, but to really test out this print and cut feature, you've got to make your image quite bigger to whatever size you want to do. Before, we couldn't go bigger than about 17 and 23 centimeters by length, but you can go a lot more bigger, and then you get this exclamation mark on the layers panel. If you click it, once you get that exclamation mark, you have a few options that are now available to you. It says image is too large, you can either resize it to the page you have, or you can change page size. And this is where this update is amazing. You can pick a bigger mat. So we do have the bigger Cricut mats, which will allow you to print a bigger page size. If you have like an A3 printer, you can even print on A3, your print and cut. Tabloid is quite big. I'm going to look into getting tabloid paper because my printer can print tabloid paper. I don't have any at the time of recording this video, but I just want to show you what you can do if you have A3 printer or tabloid paper. So I've chosen A3 and I go to make it. So once on make it, we can see this print then cut. I could have even made it a lot bigger for tabloid paper or A3 paper. I can get it that big, which is wonderful. Thank you, Cricut, for bringing this update because it's going to save so much time in terms of like if you're making stickers or if you just want a bigger image on your print then cut. So I've auto resized and done mine on an A4 paper. You can see the image is so big. Before you do a print then cut, you have to calibrate your machine, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So here the Cricut is reading the new registration lines. Your registration lines are only in the corners of your pages, but the first time you do this, I wanted to try so I could show you on this video. It's not going to read your registration lines properly because this is still in beta. It's not on the live form. You have to calibrate your machine. So it's just reading the registration lines, and then it will come up with an alert on the computer because it hasn't recognized what it is reading. So it's tried to read the registration lines. It said print then cut error. You know, it's not reading the lines. This is what you have to do. You've got to calibrate it. So click on those three lines again and you go into calibration, which is the second option down. I'm going to show you how to do this. It makes print then cut very, very perfect in terms of how it cuts the lines. Select your printer. This is the only printer I have, and then you go to print. Your printer will now print out a calibration sheet that you've got to use with your Cricut machine. The calibration sheet looks like this, where it's got boxes, letters and numbers, and just follow the instructions. So once it's printed out, you will go to continue to go on to the next stage and lay your paper on the Cricut mat just as the image shows on the screen. Once you've done that, you select your Cricut machine. I've only got one. I've got Cricut Explorer Air 2 and I'm connecting it via Bluetooth. I do have a video on how to connect your machine via Bluetooth if you do want to watch that. And then you just lay it onto your mat and you load in your mat pressing this flashing arrow. Once it has loaded in, just like you're cutting vinyl or anything, you press the Cricut button to go. And then it will start reading the registration lines on this paper, and it will make a few cuts. You just leave it and let it do what it needs to do. Don't interrupt it, don't press anything, don't unload your mat, and it will cut out the small little box in the middle of the page. So what it's doing now is reading the registration lines. So once that's done, on your screen it says, without unloading, examine the cut lines, the small square in the middle. Does it cut the line? Like, does it touch the line? And they give you examples to look at. So you go very close. Even if you need to take a picture and zoom in, I can see, yes, it is touching the line. If it's not, you go to a basic calibration. If it is, you just press yes and they'll do a fine calibration. So I'm going to show you with a fine calibration. So I'm going to say, yes, it is touching the lines. So you will just click on the yes button right here, and then you say continue. So once you are on there, it's going to start cutting on the little lines which have numbers and letters. It does take a bit of time, but just be patient with it. This will allow you to have a perfect print then cut. I'm going to show you how well it was calibrated after with the image that I showed you in the beginning. In terms of the print then cut, it's so accurate in terms of how it cut around it. So it's done the numbers already, and now it will do the letters. This is all part of the calibration stage. So that's all done, and it says, without unloading, examine the lines on the top and the right side of the calibration sheet. Use the drop down to select the numbers or letters. So you investigate and look at these lines here, and you see which one has cut the closest. So for me, it's about 10, 11. I'd say 11. If you can see, it's right in the middle, or 12. 12 is probably a bit more accurate, right in the middle. And then you look at the letters as well, and look at which cut is right in the middle. I will go with J. J looks right in the middle. And then you choose from this drop down menu which one was the best cut. I did pick 11 here, even though I did say 12, but yeah, it still worked out fine between 11 and 12. And then you just click on continue, and it will do its final last fine calibration cut. It will cut around the big square. This cut should be almost absolutely perfect on the black line. And then without unloading, examine the cut through the middle rectangle on the calibration sheet. If it's easier to see, you remove the calibration sheet from your mat. So you go back to your mat and you check the big square if the lines are all matching up. It's a bit hard to see on here. Sometimes you may have to take a picture and zoom in, but mine was absolutely perfect. So I would say, yes, cut is close enough to the center, and continue. Calibration complete. You are now ready for a perfect print then cut. So I've loaded my image back into my Cricut machine, and it's read the registration lines, and it's cutting perfectly around. This is printable heat transfer vinyl. I will be uploading the video shortly, how I got this image and how I created the t-shirt that I'm going to create with this as well. A full step-by-step tutorial in case you do want to watch that. If you do, please subscribe and put on your notifications so you are alerted when it is available. So here is my image, and I'm going to show you how easy this printable vinyl weeds and how good that calibration was from my print then cut. So I'm just using my weeding tool to get rid of the excess, which will probably allow you to see the image a lot better. So look at that, a perfect cut. Like, you cannot lie to me. This is a perfect cut. See how accurately the Cricut has cut around my image. Even the tiny little pieces in her headband, Cricut has managed to do a perfect cut. This print then cut update has even allowed, I think, a finer tuned calibration, because my cut has never been so neat. And this is the final t-shirt that I produced. As I said, follow, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I'm going to show you exactly how I created this t-shirt. If this video has helped you, please let me know in the comments. Show me some love by giving me a like, and I'll see you on the next one.